When will the United States elect a female president?
2040 or 2050.
That late?
Let's hope so.
What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke, who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? Makes her a prostitute.
You want me to give you my hard-earned money so you can have sex.
You know, back in my days, they used bare aspirin for contraceptives. The gals put it between their knees, and it wasn't that costly.
You have this whole bureaucracy upon bureaucracy being built up to support women in the military who are now being raped too much. What did they expect?
Although some people think objectivity is the press's natural mode, for most of American history, newspapers were proudly partisan. In the 1920s, a wave of newspaper mergers and closings meant each city had fewer papers, and the surviving papers had to alienate large parts of the target audience and appeal to a broader group. In this way, objectivity in the news became a professional ideal. It was far from perfect until the 1960s, when Senator Joseph McCarthy began to dominate the news cycle with unsubstantiated attacks. In response to McCarthy, the press changed its definition of objectivity. From the 1960s on, journalists routinely included analysis and interpretation in their reports, not just the facts. This new understanding of objectivity attempted to draw a line between journalists' professional judgments, which are considered okay to include in a news report, and their personal opinions, which are not okay to include. However, media and journalism's portrayal of women and sexism does not align with objectivity and unbiased ideals. News coverage on women's domestic life, their looks, and undermining comments have been made by broadcasters of both genders, which can have a significant impact on the audience's views on sexism and gender equality.
Can a reporter be objective or neutral? Let's clarify. Yes, because a reporter's job is to report, and to report means to report facts. To report facts, you need to be objective or neutral to those facts. Something happened at a certain place, on a certain time, by a certain person. The reporter's job is to report what happened, with who, when it happened, where it happened, and if possible, why it happened. What, who, when, where, why are called the 5 W's.
This woolly windbag is doing more for the right than free enterprise. Every time she opens her mouth, more Americans think, I'm voting for Romney just so I don't ever have to see this woman again. Great hair.
But yeah, if you're into that Frizilla kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, I gave up perms a long time ago.
Pressed against her bosom.
13 million vehicles were registered in this TrueCar.com, and they figured out that babes, chicks, what do you call them, Steve, skirts?
Obviously, her physique, God bless you, you've worked out, you've earned that.
Headline time.
Women are everywhere.
Headlines from Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign are indicative of the sexism and stereotypes that dominate much of political reporting on women. Headlines such as Hillary Clinton, grandmother-in-chief, and could Hillary smile cost her the election cover topics that are unimportant to any policy decision and focus on her personal traits and looks. The media's obsession with Clinton's voice, her laugh, her marriage, combined with the constant analysis of how voters simply couldn't warm up to her, is just one example of the media's portrayal of sexism against women.
So I have to ask you this very personal question. Your hair.
Hillary Clinton now, the Secretary of State, has been sporting a new look these days. No makeup, no contacts, no blowouts.
She's not looking good these days. She's looking overweight and she's looking very tired.
It looks like she's not trying, to be honest.
Yes, it does look that way.
There's got to be some downside to having a woman president, right? Something that may not fit with that office.
I and many other people do find Hillary Clinton's voice to be shrill. In fact, it sounds like a cat being dragged across a blackboard.
Could you actually live in this country for 8 years having to listen to her voice?
Her voice turns people off.
I would cast Philip Seymour Hoffman to play Hillary.
No. But many in the news media see little need for reconsidering their coverage or changing their approach going forward. Rather, they say, as the Clinton campaign fell behind, it exploited a few glaring examples of sexist coverage to whip up a backlash and try to create momentum for Clinton.
Bye.